Cue the orchestra. Trombones are playing, saxophones are serenading, and Tom Homan's getting a grand old entrance into Antifa's new favorite city, Minneapolis.
You can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions, and that's what we're going to do.
Party's over. Uncle Homan's home and says you should have listened.
I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. Not officers, not members of the community, and not the targets of our operations.
You think Homan wants to be in Minneapolis? He doesn't. It's 2 degrees. And he's supposed to be there playing good cop. But a good cop can turn into a bad cop real fast because the Ice Watch Mafia can't stop, won't stop.
No.
Back up! Back up! The streets of Minneapolis are being seeded with supplies from socialist networks. And we caught them cold in the act. Watch this.
Look at this. Here goes a group of professional activists renting a U-Haul, getting signs out of their trucks. This is not organic. These are the same printed signs. And now they're heading to the federal courthouse.
Do you know who's organizing this?
The PSL, Party for Socialism.
Oh, okay.
The Minnesota mob has their own socialist supply lines, logistics, and financial benefactors. This isn't organic. What we're seeing is Riot Incorporated. They're calling Minnesota a testing ground for a domestic revolution. This is more than just about immigration. It's about the complete overthrow of Western civilization. Homan has already been creating a database of street soldiers and turning it over to Bondi for prosecutions. Homan's hit the ground running and has just cut a deal with the local police chiefs.
The chiefs I've talked to committed to responding to 911 calls when protesters turn violent, agents are in a dangerous situation, and there's assaults. They have committed to upholding public safety and responding to the needs, not to enforce immigration law, but to keep the peace.
So if the locals cooperate, ICE can reduce its footprint in Minneapolis. Right now, we need 16 agents per raid. Someone for the back door and the front door and the sides, and then a security team to do crowd control. But if Minnesota does its job, we only need 1. You just go into the jail cell and pick up the bad guy. Walz cut a deal to save his own hide because he's under investigation for Somali fraud and can't even afford a good lawyer. Now, Homan says the AG, Keith Ellison, he's going to play ball.
Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail.
Now, Keith denies he's going to cooperate, but he's just saying that to keep the base off his back. ICE is going to start picking up the criminals out of the jails and just driving away. And ICE, the watch, they're going to have no clue. So we predict some tough talk from Minnesota politicians, but they're going to be cooperating when no one's looking. The problem is the radical left wants every single illegal to stay, from grandmas to gangsters. And they're telling the street to stand up like it's 1776.
we are seeing something that is absolutely unprecedented. It actually goes back 250 years in Boston when the Minutemen and Minutewomen rose up in order to stand against King George and his arbitrary imposition of laws illegally upon American citizens.
Markey wants to see more Renee Goods and Alex Preddies. They think if they can stack enough bodies, Trump's going to back off. You know, get a few more moms stuck in traffic and nurses rushing to give aid. Just the perfect guy in their eyes.
I saw a post by Alex Preddies' student that I wanted to read excerpts from into the record. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure. He was incapable of causing harm.
CNN says he's the kind of guy you want to bring home to meet the parents, like Fokker.
This is like the perfect guy. Alex Preddy is the guy you would want to date your daughter, the guy you would want your son to grow up to be.
If you saw the guy your daughter's dating kick out the taillight of a cop car, you'd probably be like, honey, we need to have a talk with Samantha. Primetime showed you this video last night of Preddy a week before the shooting, spitting loogies at agents before going Bruce Lee on their car. Well, now we got our hands on video from a different angle. And if you listen, what was coming out of Preddy's mouth wasn't mostly peaceful.
Look at you! Pepper spray! You guys!
Yeah, he looks like a dangerous, hostile, unhinged male nurse with a loaded weapon who went back for more a week later. Doesn't mean the shooting was justified. That's still under investigation. But this is not the calm, righteous, peaceful protest the media is selling you. Screaming effing shoot me at officers isn't the kind of bedside manner you look for in a nurse. This is the real Alex Preddy, the one they don't want you to see. MSNBC is even showing airbrushed photos to make him look more chiseled.
This time it was 37-year-old Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse who cared for veterans. Donald Trump and his cabinet, his administration, are demanding once again that you not believe your eyes and ears.
Well, we looked into this because we didn't believe our eyes and ears. There's something a little off about this picture of Preddy. We tracked down the original. Look at that. You be the judge. He looks a little different on MSNBC. Tanner. They defined his jawline. They even fixed his teeth. The left AI'd a dead guy for posterity. Why would you do that if Mr. Nurse was Mr. Perfect? Why'd they give him a glow up? Because they know deep down he's not really a hero. He was a troubled dude who tempted fate. But the more masculine the martyr, the more inspiring the movement. They want to make you think Preddy was an athlete and fighting ICE is like America's pastime.
They hit at the best of us doing activities that are at the core of what it means to be American.
Are the people you've seen get busted for attacking ICE the best of us? I don't know. I've always thought throwing rocks at cops and spitting on them, we could do better than that. I was raised to think police were heroes. When I see someone in uniform today, I always try to go up to them and thank them. I don't bite their finger off or kick their taillight out or tell them to go F themselves. These are the kinds of people the Democrats are making into heroes. Most of the country doesn't support this. They support mass deportations. There are disagreements over the tactics, yeah. But the mission, a majority of the country supports removing illegals, especially criminals, not protecting them. But it's fashionable in Hollywood to side with foreign countries. So they're accusing their fellow Americans of murder.
They're blatantly murdering U.S. citizens, detaining 5-year-olds like Liam Ramos, patrolling schools and churches. So imagine what they're doing behind closed doors at detention centers with no cameras around. We need ICE out.
Actually, illegals were blatantly murdering U.S. citizens. Illegals were kidnapping 5-year-olds. By Eva's own logic, we should want illegals out. Kneepad Newsom, same thing. Very picky about the lives he cherishes.
This madness, masked men, not even identifying themselves, no warrants, terrorizing communities. People dying, quite literally now dying. We said people will die. People are dying in the United States of America.
There are over 13,000 convicted murderers in this country illegally. Is Gavin Newsom comfortable keeping them around? If he is, he should just tell us. Why are Democrats making it so easy for foreign nationals convicted of homicide to hang out in their cities? What is that about? But for some reason, they're trying to put the guys trying to catch them on trial.
Do you think Stephen Miller should be out of a job? What do you want to see happen?
Nobody should ever have hired Stephen Miller, who basically is a copycat of the Nazis, and that's kind of the cruelty that he wants to inflict on people. He should definitely be out. I believe for his part in this, definitely should be prosecuted.
America saved Omar's life in Somalia. She came here and we gave her everything. She's now worth $30 million for some reason. And she wants to incarcerate our White House Deputy Chief of Staff because he's Jewish or because he's a Nazi. I don't even know. She's confused. I don't get Omar. This woman gets squirted with apple cider vinegar. Trump arrests the guys, putting him in prison. But instead of saying thank you, she wants to put Trump in prison. The Nazi talk's getting a little out of hand. But Late Night says it's actually an insult to the Nazis.
Do not compare ICE or Border Patrol agents to the Nazis. That's an unfair comparison. The Nazis were willing to show their faces.
These people are bloodthirsty. If they take back the House, they're going to impeach the president and they're going to abolish ICE. That means the millions and millions Biden let in, they get to stay.
As soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CBP.
Democrats are holding the government hostage, and here are their conditions. Are you ready? They want agents to take off their masks, wear body cams, and get a warrant for every arrest. Let's negotiate. ICE should just say they're Muslim. They'll wear burqas, maybe. Or have them wear COVID masks. Say they're worried about a new strain. Body cams? I love that idea. Body cams basically bankrupted the BLM movement. Well, that and the embezzlement. And warrants? No, that's non-negotiable. Not a single president has ever needed a warrant to raid an illegal's apartment. We're not going to clog this up in the courts any more than it's already been. ICE has never changed. The Democrats did. Homan's been around since Reagan, and there's never been riots since today.
If you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. The same laws have been on the books for the last 6 presidents I worked for. I started with President Reagan and ending with President Trump. Every administration, we enforce the same laws.
You know who loved ICE? Hillary.
Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone.
Homan should tell Minneapolis, we're going to do what Hillary would have done, or Barack Obama. And if they have a problem with that, they can call Barack and Hillary Nazis.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.